When a narcissist is caught red-handed, this is how they like to make things up. Greetings, and thank you for checking this video. Here's the deal with a narcissist. They just care about themselves. These individuals are completely incapable of thinking and reasoning in the same way that normal people are able to do so. They lack the ability to see and care for the most important things in life, such as their children and their bills. The very fact that we need to take care of our things in order to preserve them is not a characteristic trait of their behavior. In fact, it is the opposite of what you would expect from someone who exhibits that behavior. Oh, and before I forget, let me also mention how careless and filthy they are. Here are some of the most common methods narcissists use to atone for their wrongdoing, though not in the traditional sense of paying the price for their sins. When a narcissist makes up or concludes a fight with the aim to make things the same way as things used to be, that's what they mean by making up. A lot of this can be expected when dealing with narcissistic individuals, considering their propensity for mischief and injury to others. In part, this is why it's so difficult to communicate with these people. There is no alternative for them to apologize. They'd rather blame others or situations than acknowledge their mistakes and accept responsibility. Today, I'm going to talk about 3 of the methods narcissists use to avoid having to deal with the issue. The first reason is that if someone else is not to blame, narcissists prefer not to be reminded of their faults. They're attempting to create an environment in which the events of the past are forgotten. They don't want you to bring it up in any other context. People who are narcissistic have a hard time accepting criticism about their flaws and inadequacies, especially when it's directed at them. People will see this as a sign that you are looking out for their best interests, as well if you pretend as if nothing has happened. Secondly, to make sure their makeup or reconciliation session goes as planned, narcissists rely on a few things. One of their preferred methods of gaining an advantage is to prolong the game. This method can be used by any narcissist, regardless of whether they are a family member, a friend, a coworker, or a romantic partner. To avoid having to apologize or confront the issue, the narcissist may give you some breathing room once they realize they've offended you. In order to avoid bringing up an old disagreement when they encounter you again, they may choose to avoid talking to or otherwise avoiding you for a period of time. After that, they'd approach you with gifts and a warm smile as if nothing had ever happened between you two. It is expected that the narcissist's plan will work and that you will be sensitive to their attraction. Or you might give it another shot by forgetting everything that has ever transpired between you two. Because narcissists don't change, you will allow the same loop to repeat itself over and over and over. The usual manipulations are still used, but they're trying to persuade you that things will become better if you accept their hand again. Not long after, you'll see that they're back to their old tricks again. And when you keep mentioning what they did, the narcissist will accuse you of being negative and stuck in the past. Bringing up the past may be seen as a sign of weakness, and they may go to great measures to convince you otherwise, and that you have to get on with your life and concentrate on the here and now. And as I've said before, I'll say it again. Narcissists have a double standard in everything they do, even when they're responsible for harming others. They refuse to take responsibility or apologize. If you are to blame, they'll be ready to point the finger at you. For hours on end, they'd be happy to beat you over the head with guilt until you finally recognize your mistakes and faults, which are not yours, to begin with, and accept responsibility for everything. Seriously, we can't ignore their hypocrisy any longer. You're given as much leeway by the narcissist so that you may move on with your life without having to confront them about their conduct. Alternatively, the narcissist might sit there and pretend to be on board with what you're saying, even if they don't actually believe it. Though it may seem as though they're interested in what you have to say and paying attention, they just use this tactic to fool you. While the narcissist may agree to accept responsibility out of deference to the other person, the narcissist has never done so and has no intention of doing so, not at all. The narcissist sees nothing wrong with themselves. They want you to believe that they're taking responsibility for something when, in reality, it wasn't their doing in any way. For them to do so implies that they have nothing to apologize for. Therefore, they may even apologize for everything. However, instead of accepting responsibility for their acts and apologizing for whatever they have done wrong, they prefer to say, "Okay, I'm sorry." A narcissist would hunt for any means to appear reasonable while avoiding any personal accountability. In order to appear rational, they're continuously thinking of new methods to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. Seduction is the third method that narcissists often use when they are unable to reach an agreement on their own terms. The narcissist feels that cheap talk, or even better, physical intercourse will solve the problem rather than talking it out with the other person. Using their means to manipulate your emotions is their specialty. The narcissist hopes to manipulate you into believing they are deserving of your trust to get your forgiveness. It is their goal to erode your willpower and sap your morale. Narcissists, whether male or female, use intimacy to convince their victims that they are remorseful and only want to be close to them. But in truth, it's nothing more than an attempt to divert attention from the underlying issue. They want to avoid any discussion of what they did wrong in each case. To avoid having to confront the root of the problem, they prefer to use the kiss and make up approach. Making broad generalizations about the situation and making hollow promises of reform is enough for them. Narcissists have a hard time taking responsibility for their actions and think it is unnecessary to apologize for their actions to anybody or anything. In order to repair the relationship, the other party must act as if they have done nothing wrong and the problem is merely a misunderstanding. We, on the other hand, are dedicated to exposing the narcissist's illusions and confronting them with the reality of a situation. Let's not give them another chance to ruin our life. I sincerely hope that this quick explanation was beneficial to you. Please share your thoughts and experiences on this subject in the comment section provided below. If you'd like to be alerted when there's a new video, please subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell. We value the time you take to watch this. Thank you very much.